Good morning and welcome to Tarot Time, where we dive into the energies of the upcoming week and provide a forecast using tarot and other divination tools. And it's also our community time, so have little conversations going on in the live chat. And if you're watching this as a video, well, enjoy the time also. And we're going to get started in just a minute or two. So I like to give the live people a moment to get their notification. But yep, like weeks past and past before this week, very eventful time, very changeable energy. And we'll get into all that in just a second. Let me say a few quick hellos. So we have Jody Van Tassel. Welcome. Hi, everybody. Hello, Adair. Good morning. And Josh of Mr. Floyd's Universe. Welcome. Hello. And Mary. Millie's hi. And let spirit guide. Yes, let us all let spirit guide, right? And who else did I miss? Kiss, hi star. And Suzette Sunnyverse. Hello, Suzette. Yes. And you've already been having a conversation, I see. So what are you guys saying? Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, good morning, Michael. Evans saying hi. So enjoy your errands. And we will enjoy the replay. Hello, Roseanne. Oh, so this is Laura B. Okay. So now I know who you are. Let's Spirit Guide. You're Laura. Welcome. And hello, Katie. Good morning, family. All right. All righty then. And hi, Claire. All right. So people are slowly coming on, slowly waking up. So on a Sunday morning here in the Catskills, it's quite dark, quite overcast, a little chilly and windy. And are we coffee, tea, or caffeine free on a Sunday morning? That's our opening question. I had my tea earlier this morning. I'm on water right now. Hi, Felicia. All right, so that's basically it. So we're going to get into some tarot stuff in a minute. I like to do a meditation card to tap into the energies of the week and give us a focal point for our spiritual work, our meditation work. Do a 3-card spread, then I have other divination cards to add to the conversation and add to the messages. And the idea is to provide a good, well-rounded assessment of the energies, what's going on in the world around us, maybe what's going on in our own personal universes, as it were, in our community, and kind of take it from there. And it's just been a time of big, huge energy spikes. We've had a lot of solar activity last week. 2 X-class flares. One was a double, so one was a 2 point something. And the other was a 1 point something. Then we had a bunch of M-class flares. There's been a coronal hole, so we've had a pretty consistent magnetic stream. Auroras were visible in my area 2 nights. Well, not to me because it's cloudy here as usual, but in our area in New York, even on Long Island, people got some nice aurora shots from 2 nights ago. Yeah, from a combination of a coronal mass ejection from a solar flare. There was kind of a glancing blow, but there's been a geomagnetic shift, and I don't know the details. I like to keep up with the space weather, but there's been some kind of like a hole or a shift in the magnetic field of the Earth, and then there's been a coronal hole, and that's been allowing like a steady stream of energy, and there's been auroras like every night, but you have to go a little bit north of me for that. So what are you guys saying? Water for me. Hi, Angela. Decaf today. All right. Coffee. I like coffee. I just don't drink it a lot, but I still like coffee. And the pic you posted was extraordinary. I'm not sure which picture that was, but thank you. A picture did I posted a few pictures. Anyway, hi, Lucretia, welcome. I'm happy that you're here also. And yeah, we all like coffee, right? The aurora. Oh, thank you for elaborating on that. The pictures of the aurora that I posted were from October 10th or 11th, whenever we had the last solar storm, which was I forgot the strength of that. It was stronger than the 2.0. And then of course last May, just about a year ago, that was the big X 9.1 flare that produced auroras all the way to Texas, of course. It was cloudy here. I didn't see that one, but I did get to see the October one. Mushroom coffee, nice. And Taza's Cafe, very good. Mushroom coffee for Roseanne, that's good. Oh, you got some pics in Arkansas. That's what I'm saying. It's penetrating pretty far south. I have to drive because I'm like with the mountains and the trees. I really don't have a northern view, so I've got to drive. There's two reservoirs I could go to, and there's a place called Colgate Lake about a half hour from me that I could go to that not a lot of people go. I'm waiting for the next super solar storm. I think we're due. So we may be getting that soon. The sun may be gearing up for a lot of activity. But, as the sun perks up, there's a lot of physical reasons for it. So there's scientific reasons, but there's also metaphysical reasons from my understanding and from the messages that I receive. And the sun responds to the frequencies of what we call the central sun or the spiritual sun. That's just kind of like this cosmic light that emerges out of the void that creates the physical reality. So changes in the frequencies at large, the sun responds to that, then the earth responds to it, and our bodies and our energy fields responds to it. So while we're going through so much change, so much activity, we see a lot of breakdowns in the world. We see a lot of as these higher energies, these higher frequencies act on the earth fields and the conscious fields, it releases energy that's been stuck and stored in the earth from thousands of years of mistreatment of the earth, humans mistreating humans, all that kind of stuff. It gets stored. Just like we as human beings, we suppress painful memories into our subconscious. So everything kind of gets suppressed into the fields. But as these higher frequencies continue to act, and they continue to pulsate to get higher, it continues to release more, and it creates upgrades within our energetic field and allows us access to higher knowledge, higher wisdom. Because each of these flares and related activities, it's like parcels of information, of cosmic information that's streaming into our conscious fields. So our job is to really learn to get more present, to double down on our spiritual work, to get very grounded, because we want to receive these energies. And we don't do that efficiently if we're not grounded, basically, because eventually, I shouldn't say eventually, but we are part of the earth. So we want to stay grounded on the earth, but open to the cosmos. And then we become conduits. We can become channels for this cosmic energy also, to help to upgrade the earth and to help to upgrade the society, to be healers, to be mystics, to be teachers and channels and stuff like that. So it's a very spiritual time. There's a lot of resistance to that. And let's go into tarot. We'll kind of let the conversation evolve through the tarot. And lately I have not been, we've been doing tarot time, and then I'm not even touching the tarot for 20 to 30 minutes into tarot time. We're only 8 minutes in now. So Felicia's saying that she's sensitive to EMF. So am I. So have had. Yeah. I've been having like congestion in my ears. Has been a lot of things. Hello, Truth Wave. Welcome. Is that Victor? Or is that Truth Wave? If then I know your name also. And also you can hear the EMF with your physical ears. I get a lot of buzzing in my ears, and see with my eyes, yes, in my third eye this week. So I did a video a couple of weeks ago trying to explain the difference between true ascension symptoms, which happens as our bodies adjust to higher frequencies, versus symptoms that we get from things like electromagnetic frequencies, like from Wi-Fi cell signals, 5G, the Gwen towers that are about 200 miles apart to lay this low-level EMF field for the smart meters and smart cities. So we're in this field of electromagnetic frequencies. So go out into nature, that restores. do your heart brain coherence, because that increases the electromagnetic resonance of the heart that makes us more resistant to the harmful effects of the EMF radiation. And I'm seeing I'm seeing Arcturians in my mind. I think we're getting space visitors. Maybe they're trying to say that we're going to have a lot of upticks in the UFOs. And a lot of people, by the way, we're seeing a white streak through the auroras last week. I don't know if you saw that, and Felicia, there's like this white streak that people thought was a Steve, an STEVE, which is basically a phenomena from the magnetic. It's like a streaking phenomena from the solar activity in the magnetic field. But what that was a Chinese rocket launch, and they're using a different kind of fuel and left like this white streak across the sky. It's like, yeah, between that and Starlink, we get all these weird sky phenomena, these UAPs, right? But they're not always UFOs. They're not always extraterrestrial. That sometimes it's just terrestrial activity that we're seeing in the sky. Which Trista, welcome. If anybody's new, because I don't recognize that name, you want to introduce yourself, say where in the great wide world you're watching from. Great. So let us do our meditation card. And I'm closing my eyes, because if I see your comments, I'm going to go off on a different thematic tangent and not get into the cards. They show me the number 22. That's the number of the master builder. So I think Spirit's saying this is a good week to really work on building our new realities, individually as well as collectively. They show me bridges, so building the bridges. It may be a good time to make contacts to people that may be part of your community, or if you have a business or practice to get the word out there and stuff like that. All right. So I'm going to clear my mind and pull a card. I mix them really good. And this would be this one. Wait. Hold on. I'm thinking too much. So I've got to clear my mind a little better. First one I put. Okay, that would be this one. This is our meditation card. Wow, this is a lot of action and energy, a lot of mental activity also. So the Knight of Swords. So a good good practice for meditating with tarot is like any other meditation. Get very relaxed, open, clear mind, clear of heart. And then this is the Hanson Roberts deck. If you have tarot card, you can pull your own Knight of Swords. And in your mind, you step into the card and just gauge what you feel as soon as you step in. So be very present and open to what you're feeling before you step in. And then in your mind, you step in, and how do you feel differently? Don't try to judge or measure. Just get it, basically. And then once that happens, you step in, and then you may get what do you hear, maybe, or maybe you get psychic smells or visions or stuff, and then you kind of look around and see what the scene looks like in your mind's eye. If you do get mental images, if not, just feel it out. That's just as effective. They showed me this big longhorned ram in my mind, or maybe it's like a mountain goat. So I think they're trying to say it's a good time to get grounded also. And this could also involve, because the Knight of Swords kind of charges in. It's like movement, it's like energy. This might be a new guide that's trying to connect with you. A lot of you are going to be more aligned with extraterrestrial beings, like your star being guides, basically. So you may have visions or feelings that you're being contacted or things of that nature. I keep seeing it. It's like over and over again. It's like I'm seeing like spaceships and everything. So maybe part of the meditation, you may get transported to a different reality or a different world or something like that. But if you look around, there may be more scenery. There may be other guides, other beings. and just see what happens. And it's kind of an action card because knights are fire, swords are mental or mind. So it's time to act on your thoughts or what you've been thinking about doing but haven't done yet. And as you step into your meditation, they may give you guidance on how to act, basically. So that's that. 44 in the chat. So that's that. So let us do a 3-card spread also for the week. So we'll tap into the energies of the week. So there's been a few kind of very crazy, weird things going on with that whole like 8647 thing on the beach, right? Oh God, I can't even remember his name. The ex FBI director. I worked in the restaurant business for many years until I could lose the support job and do readings full time. 86 to me was always throw out or discard. It wasn't assassinate, but all right, whatever. Oh yeah, and the other thing is we're seeing a lot of RFK Jr. coming up, right? A lot with that. So that might be good fodder for a little conversation. We get a little bit controversial if we start to talk about anything political, right? But personally, and you guys, we can all have our own opinions and debate it on it or whatever. I mean, and I definitely see the cons with the whole thing, the pros, the cons, and all that. But if RFK Jr., who was a lawyer, right? He's not really a medical person. He's a lawyer. He's a environmental lawyer that scored some really nice victories against Monsanto and DuPont, amongst others. And now he's here allegedly or supposedly in this position to expose the corruption, to clean up, the food, to make pharmaceutical companies more accountable, to make childhood vaccination programs more safe while maintaining some level of, or I shouldn't say some level, by remaining totally effective. And then he, I don't know why he pulls this stunt about taking his grandkids to a known creek that has no bacteria. Well, I shouldn't say I don't know why he does it. I know very well why he does it. It's called the distraction, and everybody's eyes are on that, and the FBI, and things that the off the cuff things that Trump might have said or whatever. Just don't go into those distractions. That's my advice. Stay in your heart, stay in your power, because when there's a lot of these kind of things coming up in the news that are distracting, grabbing everybody's attention, there's something going on that they don't want us to see. I can't imagine what that would be. They are building AI infrastructures, and a lot of that is espionage. So as we get more into the AI, the digital age, as we continue to progress on that, we're going to be more closely watched. It's just the nature of the beast, basically. And the algorithms get more sophisticated, so our freedom of speech is compromised. We get tagged by algorithms on social media and all of that stuff. There's a lot of other things that are going on. I'm just touching on one example. What are you guys saying? Is there another major thing that's going on that you see that they're trying to distract us from? I will put my glasses on. The thing you said about bridges, the Brooklyn Bridge, the Brooklyn Bridge, that got hit by a ship, right? And for I think I don't think I even mentioned it. It's interesting. Like, things come true sometimes in my psychic forecast. I mean, usually they do, not 100%, of course. But we talked about another bridge incident, I think, for months, and I didn't mention a word of it in the May psychic forecast. And then we had a bridge incident with another ship hitting the bridge, right? That happened in where, in the Delaware or Washington also. And RFK Jr. also did a press conference, said the HHS was complicit, if not participatory, in child trafficking. Oh, interesting. Nobody publicized that, but It's to me, it's all a show, and I don't mean to be trite about it. Politics do matter, and there's nothing. I mean, there's nothing inherently wrong with there being two sides or two parties, a right wing and the left wing. I mean, after all, we live in a dualistic universe. That's the physical universe. There's nothing wrong with having those two, opposing viewpoints. But the way it's done in this world, it's like the other side's the enemy. And no, that's not how it works in nature. It's the yin and the yang. There's always a little bit of yang in the yin. So it's fine to have this, the two parties, as long as there's unity within that, and as long as there's working together to make things better, right? So interesting about that. Yeah, hi Abdullah. Also, if I missed you earlier, um, it is a show, a dumbass show. Yeah, exactly. Hi Anspree. Also, um, it said to be a Navy ship that lost power. I think that was the last one. Was the same thing. It just happened to lose power. Uh, uh, JFK Jr. situation. That'd be interesting. And no, that one I'm not aware of. I mean, a lot's come up with the JFK assassination. Certainly, it was in 1963 or 65. These people are childless, and that's both sides. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I mean that's said, it's fine to have a viewpoint. It's fine to support your part. Cause the only reason I mention that, because I know sometimes when I talk, it might seem like I'm totally against that nobody should have a viewpoint. You should just be in the heart and just like not care, basically. And that's not what I mean. So I just wanted to make that point clear. Just be open, because we all want the same thing, but there's forces that are really trying to widen that division and get everybody angry with each other, and with division comes weakness, right? Anyhow, let's do our three part. Tupac lives, Elvis lives. uh I remember. Yeah, thank you. I would not be shocked. And yes, and yeah, let's like this video. Yes, right. I like JFK Jr. Actually, I remember that. Thanks for reminding me. Uh, there are evil people out there. Indeed, there are. Yes, an evil. Yeah, what's the word evil? Error, right? That's like from the old Greek, a mistake. Evil means separation from divinity, and that's how people can be evil. Otherwise, it's impossible. Because once you're reconnected with your divinity, you realize we're all connected, also, because we're all divine. So what you do to the other person, you're really doing to yourself. But so it takes a separation from who you truly are to be evil, basically. And they want to force that separation, separation from each other, but separation from ourselves, separation from our own divinity. And then we're weak and vulnerable and easy to control. And that is the end game there, basically. Uh, with Carolyn Bissett. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Boy. Yes, hit that like button, exchange energies. Maybe Eva. Oh, interesting, Jody. Interesting take on that. Which again, is a little bit of a sexist thing, I think. But it is in the Old Testament, right? In Genesis, the book of Genesis. But there's a legend of Lilith also. Or not Lilith. Yeah, Lilith. That's the one, right? Oh yeah, I'm getting things very confused this morning. Yeah, definitely. Old Saturday Night Live. Yeah, that's a good thing. Laughter's the best medicine. Yeah, absolutely. Uh, I blindly saw separation from nature, food is said our biggest teacher and healer, right? And so, well, that separation from divinity, God, source, whatever you want to call it. And then we're weak, vulnerable, easy to control, basically. Show me chocolate now. Sugar is one of the main things that plantation, what in Louisiana burnt down, that was built by slaves, and the slave owners were like sugar lords. So basically, back in the time, they in the Caribbean and here in the States, they called the slavery back then. Today they call it human trafficking. To really change that much, but back in the day, they would support these moguls of sugar, which basically is toxic to the human system, but it's also very addictive, and plus it tastes darn good. So it took me a lot to get off of sugar, but I got healthier, and I eliminated a lot of brain fog when I did it. So especially refined sugar, but you still want to, if you really want to do like an anti-inflammatory, and really clear like that connection that to sugar itself. You also want to limit fruits to some degree. In the diet that I do, we're allowed a half cup of berries a day, and one small to medium sized yam, because it has a lot of fiber, counteracts the sugar. But no rice syrup, no honey, no maple syrup, none of that. And it made a difference. It makes a difference. And back in the day when I was in college, I read a book, I think that's written in the 1950s, called Sugar Blues, which really was an eye opener. Yeah, sugar in the mouth, that's cavity. Sugar in the system, that could be diabetes. That could be a whole host of disease, illness that can cause the immune system to compromise. It can cause inflammation, and can be a contributor to cancer also. So that's what the spirits feeds me symbols, and I speak on it. They show me chocolate. What can I say? I know we love chocolate. Chocolate without the additives, quite healthy, right? Cacao, right? Just like I don't demonize coffee, but I drink my coffee black. I don't put well, organic cream is fine, but I don't use sugar or cream in mine. Anyway, that's my own take on things. Yeah. So this is why blackberries, blueberries, and strawberries specifically. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and strawberries are especially low. Yeah, because that old man took many pets. Oh God, I'm missing part of your conversation. Well, what can I say? And then you went off chocolate. It was painful, but yeah, candida die-offs. Oh God, yeah. I and then parasite die-off too. I'm definitely overdue for a parasite cleanse. You could go the wormwood, black walnut, nut, root, or the ivermectin. What's the other one? Fendizinol. Controversial. That's not it for everybody, but people that have done it swear by it. So there's a couple of choices when it comes to cleansing parasites. And if you eat sushi, eat the wasabi. That's horseradish. That helps to kill any worms and any parasites in your sushi. So anyhow, 3 card spread for the week. The energy. What's going on in this big wide world of ours this week, and in our lives? I've got my clipboard. I like wasabi too, Angela. Um, so this is interesting. Let's see what we can extrapolate from these 3 cards. We have the King of Swords, the Lover's cards reversed, then the Six of Cups reversed. To me, this gives me a feeling of like resets. We may find a lot of activity early in the week, whether that's more news bombs, more solar flare activity, but we have a chance to just kind of chill out a little bit. That's interesting because we're one of the big things that's happening astrologically this week. I mean, there's a lot of planetary aspects, but nothing's going retrograde or changing signs, I don't believe. But the sun is, except for the sun, is going to Gemini on I think early on the 20th. So the Lover's card is Gemini energy in tarot. So we're in coming to Gemini season. Also, it's an air sign. Swords is air, and Kings are air also. So that's the air of air. I think Kings are air, right? Am I getting that right? Yeah, because Knights are fire. Yeah. So so that's more about the mind, the intellect, sometimes the intuition also, but it also may as I'm looking at this, I'm seeing the UN, and Donald Trump, I think he's still in the Middle East or was in the Middle East, and we don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but part of what we see as the agenda is hashing out some agreements with what was it? Not Yemen. Which country was it? I know Qatar and Saudi Arabia, and I think a lot of people are they were looking at that beautiful aircraft that was gifted from Qatar. Are forgetting about the helicopter that Bill Clinton was gifted. Not I don't know if it's from Qatar or from Saudi Arabia. So we kind of forget about these things, just like I think people that are really up in arms about that whole like 86-47 forget that who was it that Donald Trump, I think it was in November, was saying should be in front of a firing squad. Was that Marjorie Taylor or who? I forgot who that was, or I can't even remember her name, or Liz Cheney, and anyways, it goes both ways basically. That's the bottom line. It's all the programming, it's the division. It's like the other side's always wrong, we're always right, that mentality. There's a nice song called by Peter Gabriel that describes that, calls Not One of Us. A foreign body and a foreign mind is never welcome in the land of the blind is one of the lines. And another one is safety in numbers. When we learn to divide, how can we be hip if there is no outside? So people knew about this. It's part of the survival instinct, the tribal instincts of our human species that gets exploited by the powers that be. That's called programming. It hijacks the emotions and causes us to obtain beliefs not based on experience, but rather based on what others are telling us, and that's a problem. And also it's encouraging the divide and all that good stuff or bad stuff. Yeah. So Trump was Liz Cheney. Thank you. Yeah, it was Liz Cheney, not the other one. And Trump was gifted 400 million. I know, right? Yeah. Was that a bribe? I mean, what was that about? And these countries that can afford to gift like that. It's just that. Oh. Right. So, it's good. The only political discussion that I like to engage in it is pointing out that we need to be more unified, right? Uh, and salt and lemon make an awesome activated battery. That's interesting. I think salt and vinegar can do that too, no? What else are you guys saying here? Knights are cardinal to me, just different degrees of speed. Thank you for that. Yeah. I'm just looking at your comments. And Witchy Trista, welcome. Good to do a bit of heavy metal. Oh, thank you for that. Yeah. Parasites feed on heavy metal, and we all have heavy metals in our system. So that's great advice. Yeah. Thank you. Hi, Chloe. And thank you for that also. And yes, let's spirit guide. So much is not the same here in other countries. Yeah, like I was saying in the beginning, I'm fine. I support the idea of getting the additives out of the food. Making America healthy again. I support that as long as it's not overly politicized and have a hidden agenda behind it. Then I'm fine with it. Apple cider vinegar and water, absolutely, yeah, all healthy things. So this is really, I think, a lot of this energy today. What's coming through is about let's get healthier. The world around us tries to make us unhealthy. Then we're more easy to control, and the more ill we are, the more we're feeding the corrupt pharmaceutical companies. So and these are, even though they're reversed, they're healthy cards. And this is just kind of saying, well, firstly, the energies, they start out pretty hard and soften up a little bit. It's making me feel like anything that you have on your chest now, spit it out, whether that's to a family member or or to your spouse or significant other, if you have one of those, or if you want to write your congressman. But I feel like part of this is you have good ideas, and not to second guess yourself or diminish yourself. That you have good ideas. That the King of Swords is sort of a masterful energy of thought and idea, basically, as well as leadership and taking charge of your own destiny. So when you do things like do a parasite cleanse or heavy metal detox, you're taking charge and control. You're saying no to the control systems that want to keep you ill and subservient, and you're saying yes to yourself, basically. And yet it's not easy. Parasite die-off is not an easy process to go through. Candida is a form of a parasite, at least I think it is. Yeast, right? And the Lover's card reverse could represent division. So you know what? If you speak your mind and you speaking your truth is causing division, that person, not their fault, because they're programmed also, didn't really have your highest in mind anyway. Your highest good in mind anyway. Um, and the other thing is, with it, if it causes division, but you're very connected with that person, well, guess what? You'll work through that and you'll get closer because you've addressed an area of division, like a disconnect in your two thinking, or the two people's thought process or ideologies, or what you want in the friendship or the relationship. It took me a good many years to learn to not be afraid to communicate and speak up. Being an empath, it's hard because you feel the other person's disapproval, and it's so much easier just to clam up and not say anything, not have to feel that energy. But then it internalizes, and that internalized energy is disease waiting to happen. So as empaths, or highly sensitive people, whatever you believe the cause of that is, um, it's not comfortable, but we have to do it, right? So we have to be able to face that. You have courage and faith. And this is about nostalgia. It's about children, basically. Lovers cards also. So maybe something about really finding the supportive family. It could also, based on things like political stuff, or changes in the world and stuff like that. It could be really more, connected to, you're connecting to those more of like mind or like energy, basically. Uh, there's a King of Swords. Yeah, interesting. The King of Swords can represent truth, and you're addressing truth wave with that. So, uh, high fructose corn tea. Yeah, that might even be worse than sugar. Let me turn these pings off. You don't need to hear that every time I get a notification. Yeah, yeah. I'll flash this one. Yeah. Ooh, I know. I was addicted to those as a kid. I want Fruit Loops. I want Lucky Charms. Blah blah blah. and you're wondering why the kids have a crash at 10 a.m. and why they're hyperactive and have ADD and all that. So or you're freaking giving them sugar in the morning. That's why. I mean, that may not be the only reason, but you know what I'm saying. All right, let's move on. Yeah, we have other divination tools to get to. I have my Native American deck today. Uh, all the air could it be? What are you saying? All the air could it be stress? Overthinking will cause stress. Yeah, I don't know if that's what you're saying, but yeah. And your throat chakra is blocked. Yeah, well, my throat chakra is blocked too, but my solar plexus is really blocked. The courage chakra, like finding the courage to speak my truth. I don't have those blocks anymore, and I'm healthier now. Imagine that. Yeah, give them sugar, which acts like a drug, right? It's has a very similar physical geometrical shape as cocaine crystals, by the way. And then give them drugs to counteract the effects of the other drugs that you're giving the kids, basically. Like the air card, yes. Yeah, the swords are the air cards. The lover's card, because it's Gemini, that's an air card also. The Six of Cups, wow. And I don't have to click my card here. The spirit did it for me. And I'll get to that in a second. I mean, six is that's like Venus energy. So it's got, and cups is water. So it's got like a water. So it's kind of, thanks for bringing that up, because thought and emotion, right? Thought and emotion should be in alignment, but for a lot of people, it's out of alignment. Maybe that's another reason these are coming up reverse. Our thoughts affect our emotions, our emotions affect our thoughts. And I feel like Spirit is saying, well, don't let anybody ever make you feel guilty or shameful about what you're feeling or what you're thinking. And that was a big issue. That one of the reasons that I didn't speak up also. How many of you growing up, I grew up in the 60s, right? I was born in 58. And I was a very emotional child. I cried a lot because I felt things very deeply. So how many of you heard, if you don't stop crying, I'll give you something to cry about? So you learn to suppress your emotions very young. It's like, oh, crying's a bad thing. I'm not allowed to cry. So I suppress that as best as I can. And then all kind of problems come up, right? Because we're suppressing our feeling, we're suppressing our energy, our ability to cleanse ourselves, because that's what crying does. It emotionally cleanses our emotional bodies, basically. And then we become very overly intellect, and then we don't pay enough credence to emotions and feelings, even though emotions and feelings drive everything in human behavior, whether you're conscious of it or not. So we have subconscious feelings that we're so used to, and we don't want to see it because it's all suppressed, but it drives everything in our behavior. We might get jealous, that's inappropriate. We might get angry when it's inappropriate. We might get violent even, or angry when it's inappropriate, because we're suppressing all this stuff. And then we're eating sugar on top of it in the morning. Oh my God. Yeah. If RFK Jr. and his cronies can really address these issues, more power to them. I don't care about the politics. I care about people being safe, being healthy, and being happy. Yeah, that's my primary thing, and being safe. Or I think I said safe already. Anyway, so as I was doing this card just popped out of my Native American deck. It's the Eight of Wands in the regular tarot, but it's the Eight of Pipes in the Native American deck. And that's smoke signals. That's messages over distance. Smoke signals were a way of communicating. Also, telepathy was a way of communicating to the native people. They didn't have phones. And those that went through the initiation and tapped into their higher DNA and awakened became very telepathic. And the chiefs and the medicine people and some of the nations around North America and probably in other regions of the world, they would have designated times. Maybe it was like sunset or sunrise, but something that they'd all understand, where they would go into meditation and they would talk to the leaders of the other nations, and they would arrange where they were going to meet, and they did it basically. So, we live in an age where there's more modern conveniences. I love modern conveniences, but not at the expense of dumbing down my intuitive senses. So, the Westerners, invented the telegraph. So that was a form of communication over distance. So he didn't need to be as telepathic. Then came the telephones. Great invention. Thank you, Alexander Graham Bell. I mean, he took credit for it. I think somebody else invented it and he got the patent, but history's always been rewritten as well. Now we have AI, which is taking the same rewritten history and making that a fact in the artificial intelligence. So it's an interesting world we live in, right? But the idea is we don't want to like lose our natural abilities due to socialization and these inventions. Rather, we want to learn to enhance them, use them to enhance rather than inhibit. Basically, that takes a little bit of spirituality. So getting back to this, the Lover's cards can also represent duality too. Um, but the duality that we started the discussion this morning on that. The duality is it's really two sides of the same whole, where we're all connected, even if we're apart. I might be a boy and you might be a girl, but guess what? We're both humans, right? So we're both the same. So in any event, so this is a good time to work on communication, right? That's smoke signals. Also, with the Eight of Wands energy, things tend to happen quickly. So it's a good time for action. Again, I think that's part of the theme. It's a good time to organize your feelings and thoughts and what action are you going to take. But you know what? Sometimes you can overdo that stuff. Or what I mean is, if you're just focused so much on the action, you might lose the connection to your intuitiveness. But if you get the messages from spirit, they're going to tell you, or your higher self is going to tell you what actions to take. And that's kind of a little bit of a, what's the right word? A misconception in law of attraction, where that you have to act to attract, that the word act is within the word attraction. Absolutely, that in itself is absolutely 100% true, right? But if you're too focused on what action to take, then I think you're missing the point, because as Dr. Joe Dispenza and others teach us, if you become the vibration of something, it's what is it, Hebb's law? The neurons that fire together wire together, or there's a different law, but the law of it's the law of attraction. That's a different law. It just states that like frequencies align with like frequencies, basically. Some people say it's like attracts like, and that's true to a degree, but in this physical world, it's really opposites that attract, right? But in the magnetic, in magnetics, what happened when you have, like, if you try to bring a positive charge next to a positive charge, they actually repel, they don't attract, right? So that's interesting in the realm of magnetics also. But and then it's the opposites, the opposite charges that attract. But anyway, I think I'm getting a little bit too technical, which means I need a drink of water. But like frequencies align with like frequencies. So Joseph Spencer teaches, you become the vibration of that which you want to create. It's going to come to you, but also Spirit's going to let you know what actions you have to take, basically. So focus on being the energy of the outcome, being grateful for it. So if you can hold an intention in your mind, that could be visualization. It doesn't have to be like seeing it in your mind's eye, because not everybody can do that, but really believing in all levels that it's real. So if you can hold that intention that, I want to live in Hawaii, it's already real in my mind. I can see the palm trees, I can smell the salt air, I can see the mountains, all that stuff. And then feel grateful. That's the heart, that's the emotion, that's the magnetic. The brain is the electrical, that's the thought. The emotions are more magnetic. So if you're able to hold an intention and do it through repetition, and feel like it's already real, then you start to change your frequency and it starts to come to you, basically. So I think that that's part of, for whatever reason, I'm getting that message from this card, basically. So what are you guys having to say? Chloe's in repel mode. That's not always a bad thing to be. All right. Keep red in the Netherlands. So talk about it. All right. Well, thanks for keeping the conversation going and alive here. Very good. So let's do a few other divination cards. I mean, I could get into this conversation forever and ever and ever. By the way, we have a retreat coming up August the 1st through the 3rd, the Escape the Matrix retreat. And a little bit of a spoiler, you can escape what you don't embrace first. So we're going to teach you how to actually understand what the Matrix really is. Because if you know it inside out, then your escape route is already within that matrix. Basically, it's already been built into the program, whether it's a spiritual matrix like Maya illusion, that's a Vedic concept. And basically, by the way, we're ending the age of Kali Yuga in the Vedic calendar. Interestingly, in the Hindu calendar, we would have like 280,000 more years of Kali Yuga. So it's interesting that it's so different, like the ancient Vedics. And then we come into the Satya Yuga, right? That's the next age of enlightenment. So it's interesting how these ancient Vedic texts parallel Revelation, the Mayan prophecy, and Nostradamus, and all around the world. And it's this time, what we're living right now, this time, basically. They're all saying the same thing. So I don't know why. I just felt like interjecting that for whatever reason. Oh, okay. The retreat is in it. The retreat is in the Catskill Mountains near Hunter Mountain, New York, about 7 miles from Hunter Mountain. So we're in the high peaks. It's the 1st to the 3rd. There's information. It's not on my website yet. You'd have to email us. I have to do the write-up. And you guys that took one of the last 2 retreats with me, you get $50 off if you want to do this retreat. We send emails out that about a month ago, but not everybody opens or gets our email. So if you're one of them that didn't get that email and you want to do the retreat, it's $50 if you've done the Spirit Fest 2024 or the Mediumship and Channeling retreat. We've done 2 so far. So that's that. We're going to start guest interviews again. And guess who's going to be our first one a week from Wednesday? Yes, none other than Mr. Floyd, Josh himself, the curator of an amazing community. Check out Mr. Floyd's channeling channel if you haven't. And he's going to be our first guest in this new wave. And I'm hoping to have Joyce Keller on in June. And then July and August, I actually will have 2 slots open. I'm hoping to have. Where is Jared? Jared, where are you? We're hoping to have him on also from Who the Channel. And we may have some of you guys if you want to be on also, because we're going to do this once or twice a month for a while now. So anyway, here are the frequency of the week. I'm going to use so much restraint not to start pretending I'm Michael Stipe and singing what's the frequency, Kenneth. Oh, I like 33 miracle. 33 is a miracle number, right? I don't think I pulled this one before. We are evolving as a community. Now we are in the energy of miracles. So the what it says here is the frequency of miracle supports our belief in ourselves as a part of source, and therefore our belief that anything is possible. I mean, I got out of bed this morning. To me, that was a miracle. What's that line I love? There's a song by Jethro Tull. We talk a lot about music around here if you're new. Who's a Jethro Tull fan, especially the years between obviously their first album was good too, but their second album was amazing. From Stand Up through Thick as a Brick. Anyway, this is from the album Benefit, and the song is called The Inside. And the last line of that song is what I really love, and it is counting land, counting sheep, I fall into sleep to wake up to a new day of living and loving you so. And that line gives me chills. It's just such a simple song about how you don't need so much on the outside. If your heart is open and you have love on the inside, you've got it made. And another line from that song is I'm sitting on the corner feeling glad, got no money coming in, but can't be sad. It was the best cup of coffee I ever had. And I don't worry about a thing because we've got it made here on the inside, the outside so far away. So anyway, I had to share that with you. Somehow the miracle made me share that. So anyway, just gaze into the center of the sacred geometry and absorb the energy of miracles, because we are miracles. And we are creating miracles every day, every moment of living, we're creating miracles. And even though the world is topsy-turvy and unfortunately there's a lot of pain and suffering, but it has to happen because there's been thousands of years of pain and suffering that gets absorbed by the earth field. So if we come into higher frequencies, they got to be released. And as they get released, they've got to pass through us in order to get released back to spirit source or the light, whatever you want to call it. So unfortunately that has to happen, but it's still a miracle, and we're still going into the age of like war and destruction into the golden age of enlightenment. So it's a huge transition now. So anyway, that's what I have to say about miracles. Oh yeah, thank you, Laura, for coming in and saying that. Don't forget to hit the like. Yes, we want to get this some more sisters loved. Yes, as well. Oh yeah. They're pure ear candy. That's all. Jethro Tull, yeah. And if anybody's a flautist, you would really appreciate them. I mean, I'm not, but he's Ian Anderson's amazing on the flute also. All righty then. This is Isis Oracle deck. I think this is Isis Oracle deck I have here. Well, we'll find out in a minute. Look into Starling. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Thank you, R. So you guys like Hull also. Their latest album is actually pretty good from a few cuts that I've heard from it, and I missed them last November. They were in Bethel Woods. It's like an hour and a half for me. And part of me wishes I went to see it, but I still don't really like to be in a closed area with a lot of people. So anyway, I can put I can do the zipper technique or the mirror technique and be insulated. I can do this and enjoy the music if they come back around, and I'm gonna do that anyhow. So let me pull a card. By the way, the zipper technique, if you don't know that, if you're empathic and you're going into a situation where there are where you're faced with negative energy in your mind, before you go and visualize like a golden cocoon. Maybe there's two halves of it. Visualize a zipper, and then in your mind, zip it all the way around you so it becomes one, and then you're surrounded in this very protective vibration. These mental intentions, these mental cues make your intention stronger. And on that note, what Isis has to say is proper burial for freedom, sacrifice to Osiris, Lord of the Dead. Interesting. I wonder if that parallels in any way, shape, or form the crucifixion and resurrection of the Christed one. But in any event, but you know what? I think part of the message is in order to be free, the reason that we're not free is we're holding on to these energies that are restricting our freedom, basically. And yeah, it's on the outside, but what they say here on the inside, the outside's so far away. So if you can make the changes on the inside over time, it changes the dynamics of how you relate to things on the outside, thereby changing your life and changing your reality. So there you have it, proper burial for freedom. So maybe they're saying this week, what do we need to bury? What it's a waning moon, right? We have a new moon in about a week now, so we're in the last quarter. This is a perfect time to release what doesn't serve us anymore. So maybe do a little ritual on that, or a little personal ritual for that. So I see my Wi-Fi is low, so if I cut out, I apologize. So that's part of the price I pay for living in paradise here. We don't. I mean, we do get spectrum, but because we're not a populated area, we're very low priority. So I have a feeling we have outdated wires here. Oh, okay. I'm just looking at your comments. Go by how it makes it feel. Yeah. I know music. Music should uplift. Another one of my favorite bands is the Grateful Dead. I've seen them, gosh, at least 20 times. And one of my favorite, Jerry Garcia lines is, no matter how you feel now, music will always make you feel better. Maybe not death metal or gangster rap, but that goes back to what you're saying. The music doesn't make you feel better. That music's not aligned with your frequency. Find other music. I know Peter Gabriel did a lot of his music that was 432 hertz space. A lot of the great musicians, were adhered at least to some degree to the old scale. And we know the solfeggio frequencies vibrate and interact with the human energy fields in very specific ways. So some music will make you stronger, will make you feel stronger. Others will tear it down. And the stuff that a lot of people want to listen to is the ones that tear you down, basically. So anyhow, this is the green sphere. This is it's a painted or colored or dyed crystal ball. It's not a natural. It was colored this way, basically. And gifted to me from Heather. Oh, I like Todd Rundgren. That man saying Todd Rundgren is the best for high vibes. No, that's that's for you, right? They picked my card again already. Yeah, Todd Rundgren is fabulous. I agree with that one. Those for high. Well, early Genesis were very good for high vibes. I mean, Grateful Dead. They were beautiful vibes. It was like a traveling community of love. Of course, like anything else, it gets infiltrated by the dark and it compromises the whole movement. But there's a lot. And again, it depends on your life. But I would agree with you. Okay, what was his band called? I can't. Oh, Utopia. So the band Utopia or Todd Rundgren, good stuff there. So we got the Saint Germain. Hi, Josh. Violet Fire, Alchemy, release the old, make way for the new. So there's a lot of messages that are interlaying upon one another. This is a good week to really clear the old. So you may want to take like a little bit of a break from social media because we're always being hit with this charged. I don't want to say negative energy, just say charged energy, because they're programmed. We don't want to blame them. We want to have compassion. And sometimes I have to stop myself or even rewrite a comment that was more reactionary and just go back to compassion, saying, like what did he say when he was freaking hanging from a cross with nails? Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. I think I can forgive people for giving me shit on social media for speaking my truth, right? I think we can do that. But, if we have a negative reaction, that's our egos, that's our programming. So step out of that, watch yourself in action, see your ego in action, and then you're not the program anymore. That's a very famous Joe Dispenza-ism. So visualize violet fire. You can just do it now. Visualize the color violet. And if you have aphantasia and you can't do that, just know you're surrounded by violet fire if you could see it. It's all about intention anyway. And sit in that and just let the violet flame just burn away all obstructions, all negative energies, other people's energies, the control system of society. And if you be in heart-brain coherence, that'll make it even stronger, because then you're immune to the outside programming. When your heart is active, the largest electromagnetic frequency in the body, then all that programming can't really get in, basically, because your vibe is too powerful for it when you do that. It's an amazing practice. Do it. All right, let's see. We got a couple of other goodies here. Let's do we've already been over an hour, so we have the medicine cards. Let's get our totem animal for the week and a quick angel message, and then we're going to I hope so too, Anthrago. So prayers for your finances. So when you do your work, again, it's a fine line when we do law of attraction, because it's so easy to slip into lack mentalities. Like if you're doing like law of attraction work for money, chances are it's because you feel uncomfortable, because you have lack of money, and then you really go into lack. So it really takes a lot of mental discipline to be in the state of feeling like you already have the wealth you desire, even if your bank account's not validating that at that time. And it's taken me years of practice personally. So, and I'm finally get the cards I swear, they're just popping out on their own today. Swan is graceful energy, gracefulness. Be graceful, be grateful and graceful, right? And swans are very graceful. They glide very gently, and they sit on the water, right? So we observe the animals' behaviors, and that's how we get the message from them. And they tend to be white, right? Like the swans I see in this area, they're white. I know there's other colored swans also, but the white, especially in this, can represent also purity and cleansing and clearing. And that water is also about cleansing and clearing. I want to see what the author says about swan also, in case I missed something or I'm inaccurate with that. So let's see. Swan, Grace. Okay, so Grace, little swan, flew through the dream time, which is the astral, right? Looking for the future. She rested for a moment in the coolness of the pond, looking for a way to find the entry point to the future. This was a moment of confusion for Swan. Why was it a moment of confusion for Swan? Well, let's find out. As she knew that she had happened into the dream time by accident. This was her first flight alone, and she was a bit concerned by the Dreamtime landscape. But as Swan looked high above Sacred Mountain, she saw the biggest swirling black hole she had ever seen. Dragonfly came flying by, and Swan stopped him to ask about the black hole. Dragonfly said, Swan. Swan? Is that how dragonflies talk? Swan? That is the doorway to the other planes of imagination. I have been guarding the illusion for many, many moons. If you want to enter there, you would have to ask permission and earn that now. I guess we're telling you a story today. Swan was not so sure she wanted to enter that black hole. She asked Dragonfly what was necessary for her to earn entry. Dragonfly said, you must be willing to accept whatever the future holds as it is presented without trying to change it. Without trying to change Great Spirit's plan, that is. Swan looked at her ugly little duckling body and then answered, I will be happy to abide by Great Spirit's plan. I won't fight the currents of the black hole. I will surrender to the flow of the spiral and trust what I am shown. Dragonfly was very happy with Swan's answer and began to spin the magic to break the pond's illusion. Suddenly, Swan was engulfed by a whirlpool in the center of the pond. Swan had reappeared many days, but now she was graceful and white and long necked. Dragonfly was stunned. Swan, what happened to you? He exclaimed. Swan smiled and said, Dragonfly, I learned to surrender my body to the power of Great Spirit and was taken to where the future lives. And by the way, I did a little fun Facebook thing about a photo of me from May 18th, 2021, and May 18th today, although I used a photo from last week. But anyway, I looked at the two photos, like it could be the latest. I look younger in 2025 than 2021. At worst, I don't look older, other than my hair's a little bit grayer and my bald spot's a little bit more pronounced. But other than that, my face looks younger. Why does it look younger? Is it because I exercise? Is it because I eat well? Is it because I do breathing exercise? That's part of it. But I'll tell you what the real reason is. I don't fear growing old. And that's the bottom line. I don't fear growing old. I embrace my old age. I embrace my death as part of this beautiful journey of life. And that's the secret. And that's what, to me, that's what I glean out of that story that I just read. Anyway, anyhow, last but not least, let's pull a quick angel message. Do I look old? I'm 66. I have some sun wrinkles, that's for sure. Young at heart, right? We're all young at heart. Closer. What are you guys talking about? I'm missing a lot of your conversations. Oh boy, you guys are having. Well, thanks for keeping your conversations alive. Yeah. All right. So last but not least, Sonia. So I bring you a message from your deceased loved one. I'm happy, at peace, and I love you very much. Please don't worry about me. So I think this is a last message. Maybe spend a little bit of time to connect with your ancestors that may be helping you and bring you guidance at the time, because they have a bird's eye view of what's going on with us and want to guide us. We still have to make our own choices. We still have to live our lives. We still have to deal with other people's energies, so we don't have control over what other people are doing, but we have control over how we respond to that and what we put out into the universe. Over time, that improves the quality of who we attract, what we attract, and everything. So they have messages for us, and my spirit keeps me young. Yeah, thank you. Oh yeah, original language, very good. Yeah, the light within shines outward. Yeah. Hello, Lily Rose. Sweet. Thanks for joining us. All right. So, those of you that are in Spirit Mind family, we have channeling with the master teachers on Wednesday. If you're not, this is more of a progressive work that we're doing there, but you can jump in at any time. So there'll be information on the pin comment on how to join Spirit Mind family. That's our Patreon group in our inner community. So we do frequency work to assist in our ascension twice a month there. And then here on YouTube, we do, and on the full and the new moon and special portal dates like 8/8 or 11/11. We often do channeling as well. So that's what we have. We'll probably be doing a live stream maybe Friday night on the new moon energies. Then we have a new moon channeling. I think the next new moon's Monday, a week from tomorrow, I think. Anyhow, well, or is it Sunday? And anyways, we'll have that all on schedule. But thanks, guys, for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Love you.